So, Dr. Wolf today uploaded a video where he asked basically what was next for Sonny Starscout. And basically, the video, or in the video, I should say, he brought up some good points. And, it's hard to debate or argue what he brought up there. I mean, he looks at the fact, like a lot of fans have already, that if you look in the background when Argyle is working on the carousel he's making for Sunny as when she's a filly, thus adding the last part to it, which is the Earth Pony's crystal, unbeknownst to her or the rest of us, at that time. If you look in the background, you notice that he has a lot of G4 references and artifacts. Like, he had the feather in a capsule that's purple, which is obviously from Twilight Sparkle, as an alicorn. You see a picture of her as well right next to it. And then you see sticky notes of all the cutie marks of the main six, well, except for Applejack, which is kind of weird. But maybe that was because they were in a hurry, or they just forgot, production-wise, they forgot to add it in or something. Well, that might be a clue, who knows? And then on top of that, you look to the side, or to the left, you see Grogar's bell, what looks to be like Grogar's bell, if not exactly Grogar's bell. You see a picture of Starswell, and a few other items that are acknowledgments to what happened in G4. And then, when you look later on, when Sunny's getting ready to, make it her day, as the song alludes to, when she sings it, a few years later, we notice that there are a few things on Argyle's, on his table of the observatory lighthouse that they live in. And we see what looks like a drawing as a crystal heart, but it's black and it looks corrupted. You see another heart of something, which is purple and it looks like corrupted as well. And then you fast forward and you see what basically is an abandoned Wonderbolt's warehouse, I guess you could say, not warehouse, but training area. What's that word? I can't think of it right now, but basically it's an abandoned Wonderbolt's building, if you will, training area, training facility. And when they meet Zip, and Zip wants to show them, this, and then, more specifically, she wants to show them the stained glass windows with basically the same cutie mark on the upper stained glass window that's on, Sunny's journal, her dad's journal, which we can assume it was her dad's, and it was passed on to her. So you take all that into consideration. You also look at the fact that they had the Wonderbolts poster on there and stuff, and you have to ask yourself, what is this all alluding to? What is this all leading towards? And Dr. Wolf, like I said, brought up some good points, especially when he pointed out, Sunny's ascension into alicornness, and how, like a lot of us, he feels it's only a temporary ascension. In other words, it's not something that's permanent, like let's say with Twilight when she became an alicorn. Mainly because it took basically these three crystal artifacts that we had not seen before until this movie to, make it happen. And these three crystal artifacts, as I've talked about and others have talked about, are basically representations of all the pony races and tribes. And the question is basically, again, as I've asked before, where did they come from? Who made them? And my assumption is it has to do something with the crystal heart itself. Like, I believe, as I said in the live stream this morning, I believe, and I've said this before as well before the live stream, that I feel Twilight, Flurry Heart, and Cadence, and maybe with the help of Celestial and Luna, might have had a role in making these crystal artifacts. Like, they probably took the power of the crystal heart and infused these regular crystals with that magic of the crystal heart to help out all the pony races. And that is a good argument in theory to really consider when you get down to it. But then on top of it, Dr. Wolf also brought up a good theory, which probably is more believable than and more acceptable than what I just said. And that is the fact that he feels that Twilight may have poured her essence, a part of her essence, into these crystals, along with part of the essence of her friends, the main 6, the main 7, main 8, if you will, into these crystals to come, to come and help those that would need the help in the future that would be utilizing these crystals. In other words, if Sunny needs guidance or something like that in the future, like during the series, these crystals can call upon the spirits, the essence of Twilight and the main 6 to help her out. Now, he brings this up because he notices that when she becomes an alicorn, part of the transformation is she gets little rainbow highlights in her hair. Very, very similar, if not identical, and a bit of a callback to when the rainbow power came to be at the end of season 4. For the main 6, that is. So, the obvious question is, does that have any significance, itself? Does that have any significance, whatsoever, itself in the grand scheme of things? We don't know. But, again, it's really interesting when you listen to what Dr. Wolf has to say in his video, that it does make a little sense that, if all these artifacts were in the lighthouse before it got damaged, and I'm sure it got repaired and the artifacts were everything that was there has pretty much been recovered and stuff like that. But if you take a look at all these artifacts that they've kept, in their house, in the lighthouse, which again, I'm sure the lighthouse will be repaired and everything will be recovered and everything. You have to wonder if it's going to have any significance, because you have to think to yourself, did Argyle have the same goal in mind that his daughter had? Because both of them did share it. Since she was a filly, both of them did share it, and that is the fact that both wanted to see all pony races united. They wanted to see them united once again, just like in the past. So you have to think to yourself, was Argyle planning, before he passed, to see this through, to see it through, even with Sunny's help. Like when she got to the age we see her at, when she goes on the journey, was he planning to go along with her, or have her go along with him to make this happen? Is all the stuff that we saw, from Twilight's feather to a picture of her, hanging on the wall, to this, to the main 6 cutie marks being on sticky notes, to Grolgar's bell, to the picture of Starscout, and much more that we've seen, not just there, but throughout the film. Does that have some kind of significance as to what we'll see in the series? And will the series consist, as Dr. Wolf in a way put it, of Sunny going on a mission, that her father probably wanted to go on initially before he passed? But instead of it just being her and him, now it's her and her new friends, to probably try to get answers as to what exactly caused the magic to disappear in the first place, what caused the distrust, and try to piece it all, and try to bring it all together and figure out what or who was behind it. So it's going to be an interesting, it's going to be an interesting time over the next couple of months, or several months going into the spring of next year, as well as even sooner than that, going into the holiday, if not post-movie special that comes out in a few months. It's going to be an interesting time of speculation as to figuring out what exactly happened, between Gen 4 and Gen 5, which I've already gone out on a lim, I should say, and pretty much theorized that nearly 5,000 years have passed. So again, it's going to be an interesting time for bronies and Pegasisters alike in this community, in this fan base, to speculate exactly what happened between Gen 4 and Gen 5 that caused the magic to disappear, that's now been brought back, or at least what we saw at the end of the movie being the foundation of it coming back, along with friendship. You have to wonder exactly what caused all this. What made all this, just go into a cluster, what. You have to wonder. You have to wonder that, now that we're going into the series. And hopefully, they will answer that question as we approach not only the post-movie special in a couple of months, but the series in the spring. So like I said, it's going to be an interesting few months going towards the special, if not several months going up to spring 2022 when the series debuts, that will have, that we'll have time to speculate and wonder and ask and theorize exactly what's going to be acknowledged in the special and then in the series, as to basically hopefully give us, along with the characters in the series, answers to what exactly happened. And again, could these crystals, as Dr. Wolf put it, could they be infused with the spirit and the essence of Twilight and her friends to basically show up to help those like a Sunny Starscout and her friends when they need them to? That's something to really look out for as well, especially with all the clues and hints and evidence that gets thrown out there that people are pointing out and saying, look at this, look at that, maybe this has some kind of significance, maybe that has a significance. It's going to be interesting. But what do you guys think? Do you think what do you think the next step for Sunny is? Do you think Dr. Wolf is right in his video? What he's speculating? Do you think the crystals that we got in the movie are actually infused with the essence, the spirits of Twilight and the rest of the main 6, main 7, main 8, if you will? What are your thoughts? Do you think we'll maybe see the characters themselves show up in some kind of spiritual form? What are your thoughts? And also, think about this. They go on this journey to try to find out the truth. What if they show up in Canterlot and Ponyville, but instead of being, towns and, cities that are bustling with life like we see in Friendship is Magic, what if, Canterlot and Ponyville are now like ancient, abandoned towns and abandoned, empires or cities, if you will. Like they go in there and everything's just in ruins. Like let's say ancient Rome and all that. Like you go to Rome right now and you look at the Colosseum there and it's in ruins. It's basically an ancient ruin, but it's there as it's historical. But it's there because it's a international, worldwide historical landmark. That's why they've never torn it down completely. So you have to wonder if maybe the characters might encounter that if they go on a journey across the Equestria to get the answers they need, and they come across Ponyville and Canterlot, and they're exactly like that. They're basically in ancient ruin now, basically abandoned, and that it's going to take magic to restore them to their rightful glory once again. But what are your thoughts? Comment down below, live chat during the premiere, like the video, check out Dr. Wolf's video, that'll be linked here at the end, as well as check out my Teespring store. Check me out at Patreon at Brian Walmer, or BW Rosas if you will, as well as check me out at BW Rosas on Vimeo, and check me out at BW Rosas, discussions, BW Rosas discussions on all your favorite audio podcast affiliates except for Pandora. But again, let me know what your thoughts are. Check out Dr. Wolf's video, and I will talk to you all later.